Okay, this is Ken Rossignol with the Chesapeake Today. I'm here with Scott Ostrow. He's running as a candidate for re-election in the 4th Commissioner District of St. Mary's County in the Republican primary. And it was currently was elected in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And Scott, what do you think about your first term? Have you enjoyed serving as a commissioner? And what can you think of a highlight?
I've enjoyed being a commissioner very much, and I think really the highlight for me, and really truly, I firmly believe this, the only real fun in the job is what I like to call constituent services. And it's just really just helping people. There's so many people who reach out to me and they call and they have an issue, they have a problem, they have a concern, and being able to help them work through that, whether it be, a property issue or, we've worked on a few things that have come out of my town halls that people have brought to me. They badly needed a roundabout on Peg Roll in the Westbury housing area, and we were able to accomplish that, and just things like that. A lot of ordinary citizens who are having a problem and being able to help them get through it. That's really the highlights for me and really the fun in this job.
You mentioned a roundabout and transportation. Is FDR Boulevard ever going to get finished?
I hope so.
I mean, it was in the county's planning in the 1980s.
Yes, and we're on for now, I believe, the final leg of it. There is talk about going on a little bit further, but...
I mean, it's under construction back in there behind...
Yes.
With the church?
Correct.
Yeah.
And they should push it all the way out, and then and then we'll see where it goes if we push it out. I mean, ultimately it was supposed to go all the way to Great Mills Road. I don't know if it'll push that far, but it is part of the plan. But right now, just to complete this leg that we're currently working on, we should see that completed sometime toward the middle or end of next year, I would think.
It gets a lot of traffic, and it's serving its purpose to take traffic off of 235.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Since you've been a commissioner, have you seen any change happen with the gridlock at Great Mills? I mean, it's still the same.
It's still the same. I really have not seen a tremendous amount of change in that.
Well, Delegate Crosby, he said he got it all solved.
Well, Delegate Crosby, who didn't even bother showing up to most of the things this term because
he hasn't been voting.
No, he hasn't been voting. He hasn't been showing up. Hasn't done anything. Yeah.
They got all that donor money. He gets all those paychecks as a delegate, and he votes to raise taxes on people here and technology tax, and he moves his own business to Virginia.
Right before the vote.
Yeah.
Yep.
Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, you're running the Republican primary. You have a very nice lady, it's very conservative, Dawn Zimmerman, and she's going to do an interview soon. Do you think you have this election sewn up, or do you view Dawn as giving you a good run for the money?
To be honest, Ken, I really don't focus on other people's campaigns or what they're doing, but I certainly would never say that I have anything sewn up, because politics is a very fickle thing. All I can do is put my head down and run my campaign and focus on the things that I've accomplished and what I've done. And that's where I keep it. I don't focus on what my opponents are doing.
When you ran in 2022, you talked about keeping taxes lower. Do you feel like you kept that promise?
I do. I still believe. You've seen my signs, and I know people have beaten me up about it. I still believe in lower taxes, but I'm also a realist, and I have a heavy background in finance. I have a bachelor's degree in business and finance. I have a master's degree in business leadership and finance, heavy on the finance. I've been involved in finance for the federal government for the last 28 years. Nobody, when I ran, and I remember we did a forum when I ran, and all the candidates were up there, including my current opponent, and she was up there at the time. And the question was asked, do you promise not to ever raise taxes? And I was the first one they asked that question of, and I said then, and I stand by what I said then. I said, there's no way I can make a promise like that until I get in office and I see it from the other side of the issue. Anybody can say, sure, I'll never raise taxes. Absolutely not. It'll never happen, just to blow sunshine and get a vote. But once I got in office, nobody could have predicted, and I think you'll agree with me, the insanity that is coming out of the Westmore government and what Annapolis is pushing down on us as a county, where we have all these unfunded mandates, where they're cutting funding to the schools, they're pushing more and more down on the counties. Last year they pushed down more than $3.5 million in unfunded mandates on the county. This year it was close to $3 million in unfunded mandates. And talking to our delegation and talking to certain people, this year's budget that they just finished is an election year budget, so they've just kicked the can down the road. And next year, the general consensus is hold on to your wallet, because there's a lot worse coming from Annapolis. So I understand that, and I'm very serious about keeping taxes low. This commissioner has worked very hard. A lot of the things we accomplished last year, when I phoned in my last budget hearing, because I was on my 35th wedding anniversary cruise with my wife, and I like to think that the fact that which really upset my wife, who still hasn't forgiven me, that I took the time out of that time to phone in to all the commissioner meetings and the budget session that we had, shows my commitment to this county and my commitment to the job of being a commissioner. I phoned into that budget work session to make sure that the vote was carried through, that we lowered the energy tax. We actually zeroed it out. There is no more energy tax in St. Mary's County, because that puts real savings in people's pockets. I firmly believe in lower taxes, but I also believe in being fiscally responsible and making sure that we have what we need to maintain the things we have.
It would be easier to keep that promise if you cut spending. And yet the commissioner board you're on has gone ahead with this Leonard Hall project.
I voted no on that.
You voted no, but the commissioner board has approved it.
Yes.
And you've moved ahead with the sheriff's palace. It's going to end up costing $60 million so the deputies can hide out from the criminals instead of being on the street.
Now that's absolutely true, Ken, but also the sheriff's palace, that you like to refer to it, the new sheriff's headquarters, was voted on before I ever took office. That was voted on and passed. That was not a vote of mine.
No, but you could stop funding it.
I would have to have, most important thing to remember as a commissioner, you have to be able to count to three. I'd have
Right.
to have three. Now, once the sheriff's, one of the problems and one of the things that I've been working on very hard as a commissioner is that we prove these plans and things like that, and then it takes years for them to come to fruition. We proved that at $24 million at the time, but you're absolutely right. By the time this actually starts to get built, who knows what the cost is going to be, and that's something that either the next commissioner board or quite possibly the board after that is going to have to look at to see what the cost of that is and do a major reevaluation on whether that's going to be possible or not.
Well, on the sheriff's budget, the pay increases to attract new deputies is understandable because there's a lot of competition for those jobs. But the sheriff has 13 people that make over $200,000 a year in the top command jobs. That's incredible. They make more than judges in Maryland. They make more than the chiefs of police in Virginia. I mean, if that money was not going to the higher ranks, you'd have more funds to attract entry-level deputies. Can you do anything about that?
The sheriff, we align the sheriff, his budget, and much like the school board, right? Much just like the school board.
But you approve funding for the top positions, though.
We approve the sheriff's budget, and how the sheriff chooses to distribute that budget amongst his ranks and pay grades. That's up to the sheriff. That's not part of what the county commissioner can do. Just like I can't affect anything, who the school board hires or how they hire, their hiring practices or their retention practices. It's not our purview.
Okay. In terms of economic development, the airport and the state, the county just celebrated extending the runway, which took 30 years to do.
Yes, it did.
And the governor's office even said, well, now we can get other aircraft other than just piston-driven aircraft. These people even know what they're talking about?
The governor's office?
Yeah.
No. I would say no. I mean, it is good that we were able to extend that aircraft because it does. There's a lot of testing and a lot that is.
But they said now we can get helicopters. Well, we've had
Right,
helicopters there for 30 years.
Right, that has nothing. Right, what helicopter lands on a runway?
Right.
Exactly.
They go up and down.
Yeah. So that's just it's typical of the current government that we have
Okay.
in Annapolis.
The there's a proposal to put a drop ceiling in that little restaurant in the airport terminal. Wouldn't it be cheaper just to kick them out and break the lease instead of spending $120,000 on a restaurant that pays you $300 a month rent?
It would certainly be less expensive. Yes, I mean that is
So,
is
are
true.
you gonna vote for that proposal?
I'd have to see the proposal and what the costs are actually going to be. But if it's really going to be, if it turns out to be that,
That's what's on the board is 120
that
grand.
would probably be a no vote for me because,
Okay.
like I said, we're in very uncertain economic times.
You can just tell these pilots to pack a lunch when they come here.
One of my commissioners coined
Brown bag it.
Exactly. One of my commissioners coined the phrase, and I'm going to steal it from him and run with it. No is a complete sentence.
Good. Okay. What would you like to talk about? I've been asking you a lot of questions about the budget and transportation. What's on your mind?
On my mind for this county is I'm looking forward to another term. If the citizens of this county think that I served them well in my first term, there's a lot of things that I'm proud of that we have accomplished. A lot of things that I ran on that I said I would do that I have accomplished. Anybody who knows me knows that if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I said we would work on getting St. Mary's Square in line and get that renovation going. And I don't know if you've driven through St. Mary's Square in the last few weeks, but it took not just me, it took a lot of people, including DED, including a lot of county people, working diligently with the owners of St. Mary's Square, where they've agreed to make a very substantial investment in the remodeling of St. Mary's Square, and that is well underway. It's going to have a resurfaced parking lot. They're redoing all the facade. They're doing a tremendous amount of work, new HVAC, a lot of new things. That's going to be a major facelift and uplift for that shopping center and for our community. I've worked very closely with local families and business owners and business leaders to bring new development and revitalization, especially into the California and Great Mills area and throughout the county. When I took office, it was a food desert on Great Mills Road, and now we've, in working with, again, investors, we've got Atlantic Realty totally remodeling and renovating the old Millicent Plaza. We've got a brand new Aldi in there, Starbucks going in. We've got a lot of new businesses that are moving in there. These are things that I'm very proud of that we were able to accomplish for our community and for our economy here in St. Mary's County. I'm proud of the fact that I'm the only commissioner ever to hold regular town halls and stick to it. I hold one every quarter at Bay District, and I go to each of the senior centers, including Cedar Lane, as well every quarter, and I do a separate one there because it's very important for me to keep the people informed as to what's going on. People can come to the public hearings and you can say whatever you want, and the commissioners sit there and we don't respond. That's why I do my town hall meetings, so you can come, you can ask a commissioner a direct question and get a direct answer. Sometimes the answer is no. Sometimes the answer is not what you want to hear. If I don't know the answer, I will go find it and get back to you. We've solved a lot of problems through that, and I'm proud of the record that I have as a commissioner. Since I took office, in between Lexington Park and California, there have been over 800 new businesses that have opened in that community. And those are numbers that come directly from DED. I don't have the exact number, but I know it's well over 800 that have opened. We've come a long way. I believe in creating a business-friendly community where businesses can grow, families can thrive, and people are proud of what they have here in this county.
Okay. All right, this is Ken Rossignol with the Chesapeake Today and Commissioner Scott Ostrow, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.